there are three lobbies within Hamas. This has always been the case. There's the lobby of the social agenda. These are people who want to Islamize society as quickly as possible, take advantage of Hamas's electoral victory. They have been pushing for this for long. Now they have a much better chance than before, than at any time since they have won the elections, and they want that to happen, and they want it to happen as quickly as possible. Secondly, there are the hardliners in the military wing, or not just the military wing, but the hardliners who believe that violence has been successful, and Hamas should continue with the violence as forcefully as possible. And the third lobby is the one that basically says Fatah has sold out and we should try to eliminate it as much as possible. That is, these are people who do not want any democratic political outcomes. Instead, they want to consolidate Fatah's control in the Gaza Strip and certainly in the West Bank if they could, regardless of what is the nature of the political system that they end up creating. These are three lobbies. These three lobbies were resisted very, very strongly and effectively by the more moderate leadership, Ismail Haniyeh, some of his advisors, and in fact, I would say all the outside leadership. Although Khalid may have hesitated one way or the other at one time or another, today there is no doubt that both Mash'al and his deputy both are very strongly opposed to these three lobbies, yet they are unable, I believe, to effectively do anything about it. The reason they're not able to do anything about it is because they are not able to present an alternative. Remember, the moderates were successful in the past because they presented an alternative. The alternative was to go to elections, to win the elections, to influence the system from within the formal institutions. They were able to do it until the hardliners and the moderates believed that they were hitting a concrete wall and that there was no further progress. Now, what are the implications of all of this? The implications that Fatah has used all of these changes in order to depict Hamas as one that doesn't care about national unity, is willing to use force and violence to kill other Palestinians, that it has social agenda that is totally unacceptable to the overwhelming majority that was creating a Taliban kind of government, and that its relationship with Israel is a nice one. The hardliners are hardliners domestically, but that in their relationship with Israel, if you look at the Palestinian press every day, you'll find, I bet, at least 5 to 10 stories that will speak to any one of these three elements that I've just outlined. So I'll go very quickly in the last minute to the issue of Fatah and the changes within Fatah. Fatah's game plan since Hamas took over has been isolate Hamas in Gaza, improve living conditions in the West Bank. This has been one way they believe they will restore their credibility and win public support. Secondly, deliver a peace agreement with Israel or progress in talks with Israel that will show the public that diplomacy works, that violence is not necessarily the answer, that Fatah's ways, Abu Mazen's ways with regard to contacts with Israel is the best way to go. And the third one has been to try and improve living conditions in the Gaza Strip, restore the conditions in the Gaza Strip to the pre-Intifada era. So far, and of course, there has been a fourth way that Fatah has consistently tried to improve things. I wouldn't consider it as part of their game plan today, but I believe Fatah would include it as part of the game plan. That is to reform Fatah. I would say that there has been little, if any, reforms within Fatah. There is a lot of talk about reform, but really hasn't been much. Conditions in the West Bank haven't really improved a bit at all. The Israelis are just making sure that it doesn't. And thirdly, the question of what to do about the peace process is, of course, hanging. And Fatah is putting a lot of capital on the success of the November meeting.